A Boston movie guy doing one of my quickie movie reviews of movies I see when I see them. And today I'm going to be doing my movie review of Anonymous, 2011 film by Roland Emmerich that posits the question of what if Edward de Vere was actually the writer. Edward de Vere, the Earl of Oxford, was actually the writer of what we know now as the collected works of William Shakespeare. Uh, this is a great period piece film that takes us into Elizabethan England, the late 1500s, early 1600s, at a time when the theater itself was new and novel and considered somewhat scandalous and disreputable among people of higher birth, I guess you'd say. And which would necessitate, of course, a nobleman like Edward de Vere, Earl of Oxford, using, a pen name, so to speak, like William Shakespeare, to get his plays out there. Because a man his stature, it would be disreputable for him to be seen as the author of, plays, which again was a new form of entertainment. And was not exactly appreciated. Was not exactly something that was reputable among society. Actors were considered to be low and to be of low birth, not held in high regard, which probably makes sense. I mean, this was a time of people when your word was your bond, where physical strength among men still meant quite a lot, rather than law. Uh, Actors would be considered people who could lie easily. That's what actors were considered probably in those times, good liars. Um, and it was disreputable. It's also a film. I mean, this is a film that basically wants to show you, and they achieve it very well, what the power of stories are in our lives, what the power of narratives are in our lives. And they show you this is a time when stories and narratives were becoming mass entertainment at these large theaters, circular buildings, kind of. They were circular buildings with open roofs to allow the light in, and they could hold 3,000-4,000 people at a time. You know, uh, and it must have been extreme at a time when there were no newspapers, no radio, no TV. To have an audience like that captive for a couple of hours, uh, was an extremely powerful message delivery system at the time. And the film shows Edward de Vere recognizing this and getting his messages that he wanted to get out there to the masses. And you know, to see the reaction of these crowds to the first performances of the Shakespearean plays alone is worth it. They show the first performance of Henry V and the Agincourt speech, and the reaction to the crowd there is just simply one of the great scenes of movie making. I think it's memorable to me, and it gives you and it's eminently believable when the crowd, at one point of the most emotional point of the Agincourt speech in Henry V, wants to reach out and grab the actor and be part of it. At one point, the entire crowd just leans in when he leads his hand out to be touched, as if the entire crowd believes they are part of the performance, and people are weeping and crying. It's a very powerful moment in the film, and the film does. If the overall message of the film is anything, it makes you, the questions. It asks questions like, what are the stories in our lives? What are the narratives that we tell ourselves? What are the stories we tell ourselves? Who writes the stories? Who are behind the stories? Who benefits from the stories that we believe? Who loses from the stories that we believe? Um, yeah, I mean, it's a film. It's a powerful film in that regard. Regardless of what you believe about the larger, there's a whole world question of whether most Shakespearean scholars scoff at the theory that Shakespeare was actually Edward de Vere, Earl of Oxford. Well, there's this, I guess, a big minority people who believe it, who have always believed it, actually. You know, I don't want to get into that snake pit, you know, that snake pit argument, so I'm not going there. But I just say the film, uh, regardless of the reality of the situation of who actually wrote William Shakespeare's works, um, is a great vehicle for discussion of larger topics. Um, that Roland Emmerich obviously wanted to get out there with this film. Uh, so yeah, I would watch it if you want to think about things. This movie will make you think about things. Um, Take a look at it when you get a chance. Boston Movie Guy, Anonymous, 2011. Done.